guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. I am so super excited for today's video because I'm going to be doing my very first ever Sephora VIB sale recommendation video for you guys. If you guys did not know, Sephora does have a pretty big sale for it to be high-end makeup twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. So this is going to be for the fall dates. I will go ahead and put the dates and the discounts right up here because I'm really not sure off the top of my head. Depending on what your status is, depends on how much money you get off and what the dates are that you can shop. I know that if you are VIB, it starts on November 5th, and I think it's to the 15th because I have it marked on my calendar. I'm so excited to get some new makeup to try for you guys. But today we're not gonna be talking about new makeup. Today we're gonna be talking about the good stuff, like going back to the roots, the stuff I can't live without, the stuff that I think you need to try and you need to put in your basket for this sale. I take my high-end makeup very seriously because it's expensive. So, you know, you want your products to be good if you're spending your coin on them. And trust me, I spend a lot of money on high-end makeup that I wish I didn't. So I'm here for you. I do want to go ahead and say that there's really not going to be a whole lot of new makeup in this video just because if I haven't gotten the chance to try it more than a couple times, even if I loved it the first time, I'm not going to include it in here because I'm not super solid on liking it. You can try something once and love it and then try it again and hate it. You guys will have to wait to see those products in my best of beauty video that will be going up at the end of the year. I'm going to quit jibber jabbing because I have the whole video to do that and talk about lovely makeup that I love. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days tentatively, so you never miss me for too long. If you want to know how I came up with this makeup look, I do have a tutorial up on my TikTok, so go check it out. Talk about one skincare product that I have that you guys just need to try no matter what your skin type is. I will repurchase this until the day I die. BELIF the True Cream Aqua Balm Increased Hydration Level Gel Moisturizer. I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. It is a jelly moisturizer. It has actually more of a blue color to it, but it's so faint that it may not even pop up. I have never tried anything that is as good as this. The closest thing that I have found is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. The only difference is that this is just like a tad bit more moisturizing. I have oily skin. I recommend that if you're somebody with oily skin, try using a gel moisturizer. It's not going to clog your pores, but it's also going to keep your skin moisturized. Just because you have oily skin doesn't mean you skip moisturizer. I love this stuff for everyday use. I especially love it before I put on makeup because it just makes the skin so smooth and hydrated that your makeup just goes on like butter on top of it. This is actually the big bottle, the 3.3 fluid ounce. I finally went ahead and bought this. If you've never tried it, of course, go ahead and get the smaller one. To get into the makeup, I'm actually just going to talk about these products in the order that I do my makeup in. So first we are going to start with brows. One of my favorite brow pencils of all time. This is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Waterproof Brow Pencil, shade number 5. I actually lost the top to this side of it, but oh my gosh guys, this has the perfect pigmentation. It's the perfect size. They have a good amount of colors for everybody. This is the best high-end brow pencil I've tried. This poops on the ABH brow pencil 20 times better. Such a creamy formula. When you're doing your brows, it's not going to transfer and smudge. It's very easy to blend out. I always recommend that if you're somebody with sparser brows to be using something that is smaller like this because it's going to allow you to give your brows that lifelike type of look. If you're somebody with a little bit more of a fluffy brow, you're probably going to want something that is a little bit bigger in size. It's dual-ended, so it comes with a spoolie and your product. Favorite concealer of all time to carve my brows out is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and this is in the color medium dark to caramel. Especially this year, become such a big fan of NARS makeup. I did not really ever even show interest in the brand NARS because I had tried their Radiant Creamy Concealer years and years and years ago and I didn't like it. So it kind of turned me off. But I have been using so many NARS products. This is not the only one that you will see in this video. It just has the best creamy formula. It has really, really good coverage. It's just perfect for carving out the brows. Personally, I like to use pot concealer to carve out my brows because you're working with hair. So you want something that is a little bit thicker. That way it conceals your brows and lays the brow hair down. And this also has a really good shade range, and I believe that this is $30. So I mean, it's expensive, but I have barely even put a dent in this product, and trust me, she does not go unused. I don't have a high-end eyeshadow that is sold at Sephora, so we're just gonna jump straight into eyeshadow palettes. First, I wanna go ahead and mention the Violet VOSS eyeshadows to you guys in general. I'll show you the two that I have. This first one is the All of You Forever eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. So just really great for actually fall time. Use this creating a look in my full face of independent brand makeup. This is the I Love You Cherry Much eyeshadow palette. When I tell you guys, the formula on these is so impressive. They are so pigmented, so blendable, easy to build up. They just go on the eyes like butter. I think what I love about this brand too is that their matte formula and their shimmer formula are just as good as one another. And trust me, eyeshadow I feel like is something that the drugstore can do just as well as high-end makeup does, but these, oh my gosh, I have never heard anybody talk about Violet Voss. They really do not have a lot of kickback in the pan either. I really love the color stories in here. I feel like they are very good for not only light skin, but also dark skin. And that's what I appreciate. It's not just something where if you are darker skin like me, it's like, oh, I can't use half of these colors. No, I could use every single one of these colors. In my opinion, if you are going to splurge on a NATASHA Denona eyeshadow palette, it needs to be this one. This is the NATASHA Denona Bronze Palette, and I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. Just perfect, the everyday person. I do have the Metropolis palette, but honestly, I'm really not the biggest fan of it just because there's not a whole lot of transition colors in there, especially for people of color. Not saying it's a bad palette because her formula is great. I like this because you have so many different transition colors. You have darker colors that you can put in your crease. Her shimmers, they have a beautiful, beautiful foiled formula. It's amazing. Also with the Violet Voss eyeshadow palettes, they come with a really good size mirror. So these are amazing for travel. And something like this, in my opinion, if you are just the everyday person and you don't wear blue eyeshadow on a daily basis, this is perfect for you. One last eyeshadow palette that I did not expect to like as much as I do. Huda Beauty Naughty Nude eyeshadow palette. Go ahead and open it up for you guys. To me, this is in between wearable and not wearable because it is more of like a purplish / pinkish type of palette. I was blown out of the water by her formula. Huda Beauty is really hit and miss for me just because some of her products are so super fragrant that you can't even try to process how you feel about the product. I don't want to sound super repetitive, but again, very blendable eyeshadows. And this is actually the first eyeshadow palette that I've ever seen that has like marbled eyeshadows in it. Also, the reason I feel like this is on the verge of wearable and kind of for more color is because you do have really nice transition shades in here, and then you have some purples. I mean, you have a touch of pink, but then you also have those everyday golds, and if you wanted to play with color you could because you do have those options. So it's like right in between. So maybe if you're somebody that does want to get into color, I would definitely recommend this for you because when I first started getting into color, the first thing that I dabbled in was pinks and purples. They're a little less intimidating than something like a bright pink or a blue or a green. I'm only gonna say this palette in general because I'm really not super in love with all the other color stories that she has. Went back and forth on trying her other ones, but nothing really speaks to me. We are gonna go ahead and get into primer, and I only have 2 primers for you guys, and surprisingly, neither one of them are mattifying or pore filling. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, Chef's Kiss. Let me tell you, this is the first primer that I ever used that did not claim to be pore filling or mattifying. It just is such a good sticky base for makeup. Your makeup just like sucks to this primer. It is amazing. I love the fact that it kind of has like a cooling feeling, and it is hydrating, but it's not the oily oil slick type of hydrating. It's the glow from within type of hydrating, and to me that's important because I do have combo skin. So my face already produces enough oil on its own. I don't want a moisturizer or a primer that is going to make me look oily, versus if you're gonna make me look like I got a little bit of a glow, I can rock with you. I have tried dupes to it, and I'm telling you, not that the dupes are bad, but this is not sticky. It's tacky. It's not going to leave your fingers feeling like you just ate sugar, something sugary, and got it all over your hands. Not heavy feeling on the face. This is also another hydrating primer. This is the Huda Beauty Hydrating Water Jelly Primer. This was actually supposed to be an essence, and they went ahead and labeled it more of a primer. I love using this before going in with my pore filling primer because this just gives such a nice base for you to start with makeup. When I tried this out, I tried it with the stick foundation. I actually thought that I was gonna like the stick foundation more than this, and in that video, which I do have a review, I'll link it up here for you guys, this product ended up being my favorite. I think that these 2 products are the reason that I will use hydrating primers, because before I would never even touch a hydrating primer, but because of these 2 products, I will. And I think that there's the stigma that if you have oily skin, you can't use hydrating primers. I am telling you guys, using hydrating primers has changed the game for me because it just makes your products melt into the skin and just kind of feel like butter. Now, not saying that pore filling primers and mattifying primers don't do that, but they're there to mattify and to make your pores go away. I will use this first and then go in with that pore filling primer, and I almost feel like it works better because it can glide onto the skin. It's not having a rough surface to go on. This smooths everything out, and also this is just a really good feel step. If you're debating between these two, this one is going to be a little bit thicker, and I do use this one on its own. I do not use this one on its own. I will use this with a pore filling primer. This one is a little bit thinner in consistency, so that's really the difference between these two. I hope you have your snack because this is the part that's long. 9 foundations to talk about. I had double this to talk about before, and I was like, okay, we got to narrow it down a little bit. First one is the KVD Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation, and I am in the color Tan 74. You guys are probably like, Anissa, we know the tea on this foundation. We know that it is very controversial. It went very, very, very viral on TikTok, and let me tell you, I almost feel like it went so viral that it had these really high expectations to live up to, so anything below those expectations brought it back down to here. Has such good coverage. You do not need a lot with this foundation. Less is more. When you use too much, your face is going to be cakey. It is a thick formula and it is not long lasting. So you guys are probably like, okay, Anissa, why are you including it in this video then? I'm including it because it's really, to me, I use this for more of an event type of makeup where if I want to go on a date or something, or I'm not going to be wearing it all day. This is not an office type of foundation, like a 9-to-5 foundation. It's not going to do that for you, but it looks so beautiful in pictures and stuff like that. So if you're going somewhere for like 2 or 3 hours, this is great because it looks so beautiful on the skin. It covers every imperfection that you have. I also do have a review on this foundation, and I will link that right up here and in the description box for you guys, because it's really hard to unpack everything about every product in a video like this. I'm kind of just trying to give you guys a brief summary. I also really like using this for TikToks as like a base or anything like that when I'm doing a tutorial. This is the closest shade in a foundation that I have ever found, so I think that's also why I really like it. Next, we will go into stick foundation. I don't think I have actually ever used this on this channel because this is a foundation that I discovered, I think, before I really niched down to just makeup. This is the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick, and I am in the color Golden Almond, the best foundation stick I have ever tried in my life. It has the creamiest formula. When I think of like pot concealers and stick foundations, they do tend to be a little bit thicker in consistency and a little bit harder to blend out on the face because they're solid. But this blends into the skin like butter with a brush. It is the most lightweight feeling, and it also does have really good coverage. It's very easy to build up, so if you build it up, it's not going to be cakey on the face. I also really like to mix this, do a little bit of stick foundation and then a little bit of liquid foundation. It's a very good overall versatile stick foundation. This is actually the only foundation stick I have ever tried that I've liked for all over the face. If I end up not liking a stick foundation, I just end up using it to carve out my brows, which is a good way to still use it and get your money out of it. But this is amazing for all over the face. This does have more of a soft matte finish. This one is a more natural slash maybe a little bit soft matte finish. I do have a little bit of everything. I do have natural foundations, I have matte foundations, and I have some soft mattes. So a little something for everybody. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation, and this is in the shade number 10. I actually tried this foundation based off of a video request of one of you guys, so thank you for wanting me to try this foundation out because I actually ended up really liking it. This review is one of my favorite reviews that I've ever done that I will leave right up here because it looks so good, not only in person, but when I was editing the video back, like the footage, I was like, oh my gosh, my skin looks so good. Full coverage. It is more of a soft matte finish. Only downside to this foundation is that the shade range sucks. It's hard for me to find a shade. Pretty sure that 10 is on, we're getting close to the end of the shade range. So if you can find your shade in this, I would recommend trying it. It has really good lasting power as well. It wore really well throughout the day and it has good coverage. This is a newer favorite of mine because I was able to take this on a little Chicago trip that I took. NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and I am in the shade MD4 MACAO. First, I want to say that I feel like the name is really misleading on this because this is not a radiant finish. It is actually more of a soft matte finish. It's not super matte. It doesn't take all of the shine and life out of your face, but this actually has really good lasting power. It is a little bit of a thinner consistency. It starts off more medium coverage, but you can build it up if you'd like to. And again, I use this for 3 or 4 days with different foundations, with different powders, different primers, different concealers, and it worked well with everything that I used it with. For a long time, I didn't try this foundation because I really still don't use foundations that claim to be radiant. I will use things that claim to be natural finish, but radiance is not my thing. I wish they would change the name on this because I feel like it's really misleading, but this is really good, and NARS does have a great shade range in this foundation. Next, another NARS foundation, as far as soft matte and matte foundations go, takes the cake for me. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation in the color MACAO Medium Deep 4. I think I'm running out of little tags that I can put in the video, but I'll put it up here. If it's not up here, that means I ran out, and I will put it down below. I do have a review on this, so if you want to know in depth as to why this is like the best thing God has ever created, that'll let you know. I love the packaging on this. It comes in a little squeezy tube, so it's very easy to apply the product. The product is thinner in consistency, but when I tell you that this makes all of the problems on your face go away, you're gonna be left with such a seamless canvas. It's very breathable. This is the most long wearing foundation I have ever tried, and it's not even matte. It claims to be soft matte. When you guys watch the video, you will see from the time that I put the makeup on in the morning, from the time that I take it off, it does not look much different, if not different at all. Worth every penny. Also has a really good shade range. I honestly need to mix these two together because I feel like that would be such a wonderful combination, but they're both honestly really good. And if I had to pick, I would probably pick this one just because it does have a little bit more lasting power, in the sense that it is not going to make your makeup look any different. It's gonna give your oil a run for its money because it's not gonna let anything through easily. Next, I wanna talk about the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This is the natural version. I have tried the matte version, and surprisingly, I actually like the natural version a little bit better. This is in the shade Chai, and this does claim to have medium to full coverage. I agree with that. I'm saying I'm so surprised that I like the natural formula more because I'm somebody with oily skin, so I usually do tend to like the matte version of things better just because it has a little bit longer of a lasting power. But I just love this foundation. It leaves your skin looking so healthy, but it takes away all of your imperfections at the same time. I found that natural foundations do tend to work a little bit better with anything else that you put on top of them, just because matte foundations do pretty much go from liquid to powder, like they dry down, versus natural foundations aren't gonna do that. Not that that's a bad thing. This, I can truly say, I feel like would work for all skin types because I'm somebody with oily skin and I like it. So I feel like if you had dry skin too, this would also be really great because it's not mattifying. Next, I want to talk about the Rare Beauty foundation. I'm in the color 450N. When I first tried this, I really was not the biggest fan of it. I didn't see what the hype was about. Honestly, when Selena Gomez announced that she was coming out with a makeup brand, I kind of thought it was a joke just because you see so many celebrities getting their hands into the makeup industry because it is a moneymaker. I picked this for my Shop My Stash last month, and this was one of my favorite products that I pulled. This and the Too Faced Born This Way are very similar to me in the finishes and the way that they work. This is a little bit more thin in formula. This one has a little bit of a thicker formula, and it's just so lightweight. Makes your face look so fresh. This also has a really good shade range, and it does come with a doe foot applicator, which to me is super, super convenient because you don't have to do any mixing trays. You don't have to pump anything onto the back of your hands. Before, if you guys are using this foundation, make sure you shake it very, very well before because it is super watery. So the foundation does tend to separate, not in a bad way, but the ingredients do when you let them sit. So make sure that you're shaking everything. That way your formula is unified. I think that's what had happened to me the first time. I didn't shake it well enough and it just looked oily on my face. It didn't even look natural. I hated the way it looked. So I'm glad that I actually was able to retry this because I love it. I couldn't choose, guys. I had to talk about both of these. First, we're going to talk about the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This is actually, I think, the first foundation that I really ever loved from the high-end side of makeup. Fenty has an amazing shade range in all of their products. Let me start with that. But I will say that their foundations are probably my favorite thing from them. Their concealer and the powder are okay, the loose powder, but I do not like the pressed powder, and I really do not like the skin tint that they have. I have a review on that also. I'm in the shade 420. When I think of soft matte foundation, I think of this, and maybe it's because it was the first thing that I used. Clean, nice canvas to work with, medium to full coverage. I really never build it up because I use such full coverage concealer that I don't feel the need to work it up to a full coverage. And they actually make minis in this now. So if it's a product that you want to try, this is perfect to try during the sale because they have many versions of this. Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation. And honestly, to me, the only difference in these is the finish. They work the exact same in my opinion. They have the same feel. They have the same texture. They have the same smell. They have the same coverage. The only difference is this one is soft matte and this one is hydrating. I actually want to mix these one day and see if I can get like a natural finish out of them. I feel like that would be fun. But I'm also in love with the packaging of this. I think that it being in a tube and having a pump is so innovative. Sometimes all the brands have to do is suck me in with their packaging and I'm sold. We got through all the foundations. Everything else I only have 2 or 3 products for, so if you're still here, you survived. Only have 2 concealers, ride or die. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I am in the color Butterscotch. I actually have not gotten to use this as much in the past couple months because I've been trying so much new makeup, but the thing about this product is that I know that no matter what I use it with, it is going to look amazing. It's not gonna matter. I can pair it with any type of foundation, any type of primer, powder, anything, and it is just so versatile. This does have a natural finish to it. I have found that with my concealers, I really do prefer a natural finish because natural finish concealers tend to work a little bit better with your powders. Same thing with the foundations. Concealers that are matte do tend to dry down. So it's like you're setting something that's already been set. It's already dried down to your face, so it can look a little powdery depending on what you're using. This is full coverage. I do not settle for a light coverage concealer because I like my under eyes to be brightened and concealed. Next, I have the Rare Beauty Concealer, and this is also in the color 450N. I wish I would have went a shade up on this because I do have to mix it with something lighter, only because I like my under eyes to be a little bit lighter, but this has really good coverage on its own. You can build this up to full coverage. It is so super, super creamy. It has the greatest formula. I also like the doe foot applicator on this. It is a little bit more unique. It's not just your standard shape. It's a little bit thinner in the front, and then it does have a slant to it, so it's like the perfect size for underneath your eyes. Neither one of these are going to hold onto your fine lines weird. I have a lot of texture. I have a lot of fine lines underneath my eyes. I've never found anything that can get rid of them, but these 2 high-end concealers are the only ones that I found that don't hang on weird. They're not going to cake up onto your face weird. They're not going to hang on to anything. I almost feel bad because I feel like this product is so talked about that it almost gets slept on now in a way because everybody's like, okay, we get it. It's good. And I have 2 of them. These are the Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powders. Between not just only high-end but also drugstore powders, these are my favorite of all time. They are so finely milled and smooth. It's just gonna filter your face completely. I like to use the translucent honey underneath my eyes. I will also use the translucent medium deep underneath my eyes. This is also really, really great for all over the face. This one specifically I love because it does do a little bit of brightening as well. So it's not only going to filter, but it's gonna make you look a little bit more awake. I also do really like the translucent one, but I felt like it would be really excessive for me to have all 3 shades in this. The only thing that I found that's even come close to this is the Hailey's Beauty loose setting powder. Those are like my number 2 favorite things. And also what's so sad about these is that I've been trying so much new powder that I haven't been able to use these. So I think I'm gonna let myself pull these in my Shop My Stash next month. You guys don't see me pull this makeup in my Shop My Stashes because I know that if I pull it, I will use nothing else because I know that these are the products that you can just fall back on and are amazing. So these are absolutely 100% worth every single penny. I also love that the translucent is actually translucent. None of these have flashback. For the medium deep, I do like this one because it does actually add a little bit of coverage to the face. It's not going to be cakey or anything like that. It's so finely milled. I usually will not use a sponge all over my face, but with this, it is so amazing. It just melts into the skin truly. Do I need to say any more? To go on to pressed powder. Now this is actually a more newer favorite, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here because I have pulled it from my Shop My Stash this month and I've used it multiple times. This is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. This is in the color Y505, so you get your product on one side, a little puff on the other, and then you do get a little mini mirror in here. Love this powder because it is not cakey feeling at all. It adds medium coverage to the face, but it just does a really good job of blurring and smoothing like a powder should. It has a very nice smooth formula. It's not going to accentuate your texture. Favorite step in makeup is going from like a natural finish foundation to a powder like this because it's just so smoothing and makes you look like you have a filter on your face. I do want to warn you guys, with any powder foundation that you use, 9 times out of 10, it's going to look different in the pan than it is on your face. Usually it's actually going to be a little bit darker on your face than it is in the pan, which is why this does look a little bit lighter than me. And again, I'm in the color Y505. I know that I can pair it with anything, and it can either fix something that goes bad or make something that looks good even better. One more powder foundation. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Complexion Powder, and this is in the color Spiced Rum. If you are somebody that likes to use consecutive lines of things, the only line that I have ever found that I liked completely across the board is the Too Faced Born This Way collection from Too Faced. It's just a really good trio in my opinion. And they do have a loose powder of this too, but I do prefer the pressed one. This is going to give you medium to full, is also medium to full, but I always put it on top of a foundation. Rarely do I ever just put powder on my face. I'm going to be wearing foundation. Neither of these are drying. They are going to mattify. They're not going to add shine to your face, but they're not going to make you look dry. Next, I want to talk about cream, blush, and bronzer. The Huda Beauty Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream, and I'm in the color medium. Let me show you guys how dark medium is. I probably could have went up a color and been fine. That's one thing I love about these is how deep the colors go. When I tell you, you do not need a lot of this product at all. You don't. It is very easy to overuse this because it is so pigmented and it also blends into the skin really nicely. I've kind of been shying away from bronzer just because I'm like, I don't really know if it's my thing anymore. I think I've kind of just given up, but I do like this one and I think it's very user friendly. Also very travel friendly because it is so super thin, and you will never have to buy another one of these because of how pigmented it is. It's also very creamy in formula. This is not heavily scented like her other products are. When I think of scent, I automatically think of Huda Beauty and Fenty Beauty. More so Fenty Beauty, not because the smell is strong, but because all of the products smell that way. The powder does, the foundation does. If you've smelled them, you know what I'm talking about. And then Huda Beauty is just like, girl, let's back off on the scent a little bit. 2 cream blushes. Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade O. She's different. This one right here is a cream and this one is a powder. When I tell you guys, this is worth every penny that I paid for this. It is just amazing. He has one of the best cream blush formulas that I've ever tried. I love this because I can set my eyes and then do my cream blush and my powder blush. Sometimes I found that some cream blushes do not like powder and they will pull product off of your face if you try to put it on after. The most perfect everyday color, especially if you're somebody that is darker like me. And I also like that it comes with a little protector so your product isn't getting mixed in together. Both of these formulas are amazing. They have great pigment. They're very easy. I like the cream blush because although it does seem intimidating, it's really not. It's pigmented, but it's also easy to take away and it's easy to add. So when I say take away, if you want to like go over your face with a sponge, it will kind of diffuse and take away some of that if you put too much on. Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush, and this is in the color 10 Rosé Latte. I want to mention this especially if you're somebody that is darker like me. This is the perfect everyday type of color. I would almost use this as a lipstick as well because I like more brown nudes on me. I really am not like a super pinky nude type of girl. I love the browns. You can use this on top of powder as well. You do not need a whole lot. I haven't tried any of the other colors in this setting spray, no matter how sick and tired you guys get of me talking about it. The Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray, long lasting. You set your face with this, it's not going anywhere. I love this. It is such a good mattifying setting spray. I'm gonna warn you, it does have a very strong alcohol scent. Pretty much any mattifying setting spray that you use is going to have alcohol in it because what alcohol does is sucks up your oils. I know that when I put this on my face, it's not going to disturb my makeup. The spritzer on it is very nice. I am going to talk about highlighter, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about all 3 of them at the same time because they're from the same brand. If I had to throw away all of my highlighters and only keep these, I would be so content and happy with my life. I would be able to survive. These are the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed Highlighters. This one is the classic we all know and love, Champagne Pop. This one is a little bit more of a pinky highlighter. This one is in the color Topaz, which this is my smashed one. If you are a girl of color, this is so perfect for you. I hope you guys can see that. This is so beautiful on brown skin. This is Chocolate Geo. I was really sad when I found out that Becca was going out of business. Luckily, Smashbox is actually buying Becca per se, but they're not keeping everything. They're only keeping certain products, and I know that they are still selling the highlighters. So the packaging will look different than this, but it does the same thing. I just have one mascara that I want to talk about. This is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang Mascara. I love this mascara for the lower lashes. I have lash extensions, so I don't use mascara on my top lashes. And let me tell you, if I'm saying that I like a mascara, that says something, because I'm really not super picky. I just need you to lengthen and separate my lower lashes and we're good. And that's exactly what this does. I love the fact that the wand is kind of cone shaped, so it's very easy to apply. You don't feel like you're gonna be hitting underneath your eyes. It's not gonna smudge. And it also does a really good job at lengthening and separating. Last is lip products, and these are actually from the Sephora collection. Easily some of my favorite lip liners of all time, Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liners, and I'm gonna go ahead and just swatch them for you guys. These two colors in particular are such beautiful nude, and I also love these because I do tend to like gel lip liners a little bit better, because I found that the pencils are just a little bit too dry for me. And these are also retractable, so you can roll them up, so you're not wasting any of your product with a sharpener. This one right here is the color 32 Hot Sauce. This one over here is 15 Rosewood, and they have so many colors in these. I'm pretty sure that these are close to $10. They're very creamy, very pigmented. They're not a matte finish, they're just a natural finish. Last but definitely not least, I wanna go ahead and shout out the Sephora #LipStories lipstick, and this is in the color Yum Yum number 10. Definitely pulls more brown, which I think is why I love it. Like I told you guys, not a matte formula. So pigmented and so creamy. We made it to the end. If you're still here, you're a trooper. And I hope that you're putting some of this stuff in your shopping cart. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed some of my recommendations, products that I just refuse to live without. If you guys are gonna pick up any of these products, please let me know down in the comments. If you've already tried some of these products and love them as much as I do, let's share our love for these products in the comments. I will be shopping the sale myself, so make sure to be on the lookout for a Sephora VIB sale haul. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.